when the local doctors Oh my. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sneha and welcome to a book haul. So I didn't mean to buy a lot of books in this year because I also have a lot of unread books on my shelves. So I was very good at keeping up with the book ban. In the month of May, I bought 0 books. But yesterday I went to a book fair. It was one of the load the box kind of book fairs where you buy a box, like a cardboard box, and you can fit how many ever books you can into them. So you're essentially paying for all of the books that you fit into that box. So it works out very economically, and I found a lot of really cool picks, and that's how this video came to being. So yeah, this video is a combination of all the books that I bought in the Load the Box book fair, as well as a few of the books that I've collected over the last few months. So yeah, it's a combined book haul. So let's get started. I'll first run you through the non-book box kind of books, so that can be towards the end of the video. The first book that I wanted to show you is Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shri. This is the winner of the International Booker Prize for 2022. This is a Hindi book written by Gitanjali Shri and translated by Daisy Rockwell. Of course, this book is currently widely acclaimed, and that's why I really want to get to this. I have just started reading this today itself, so hopefully I will make some ways into it. This is a story about an old woman who starts to accept her life more fully than when she was married. Her husband has just passed away, and it's about partition, it's about love, loss, grief, all of that, and it's supposed to be written in a very quirky, rambunctious tone, and it has such rave reviews across the board, so I'm really looking forward to it, even though it is a chongster. Then I subscribed to a book subscription box for a couple of months. This was organized by Champaka, which is an indie bookstore in Bangalore, India, and I just really like their selections, what they post on Instagram, so I thought I'll try their book subscription box. Now both of the boxes were themed around travel, and all of the books are somehow travel related or country related. So the first one is Atlas. I got this in May. So this is Atlas of an Anxious Man by Christoph Ransmeyer, and it's translated by Simone Pear. This is basically stories of the author from across the globe, so they're basically like travelogues. So they're really short chapters set in different countries, offers different experiences, experiencing different cultures. So very fun book. So I don't think this is the kind of book that you read as a novel. I want to like pick it up, read a story, keep it down, stuff like that. So very excited to get into this. Then in June, I got 3 books from Champaka. The first one is actually a picture book which I finished yesterday. This is Homecoming by Anya Asrani. So this is the story of Tibetan refugees. Now Tibet came under the rule of the People's Republic of China, and because of that a lot of people were put in exile, and a lot of people emigrated to India, including the Dalai Lama. Now they are settled in refugee colonies across the country. There's one in Dharamshala, there's one in Karnataka, and there's one in Darjeeling, which is West Bengal. Now Anya Asrani talks about now this story is this book is a very thin volume filled with really cool looking illustrations, basically detailing the journey of one man from Tibet to Karnataka, which, if you know anything about the geography of India, is pretty much in 2 different extremes, and it's basically about how home is really far away from them, but also they really can't go back, so they are having to make their home here, and how they feel about that. So very thin book, very interesting look. So I'm hoping to read more about Tibet, because the next 2 books from Champaka are also based on Tibet. The first one is Eat the Buddha by Barbara Demick. This is life, death and resistance in a Tibetan town, and so this talks about a small Tibetan town on the edge of the plateau called Nagaba, and the stories from there about the royals of that place, about how they were displaced, about the common man, about the atrocities committed by the People's Republic of China on these peace-loving people, and stuff like that. So very interested in getting into this. The last book from Champaka is Copper Mountain by Thupten Samphal. Please excuse my pronunciation of names. Now this is published by Tibetan Writers Circle called Tibet Writes, that publishes and promotes the creative work of Tibetans, and it is set on Mount Kailash. Now Mount Kailash is an extremely holy place for the Hindus, for the Buddhists, and also the Jains. For the Hindus, it is said to be the resting place of Lord Shiva, who is one of our main trinities. So the story is set on Mount Kailash, and it is about how a mining corporation wants to take over that holy land for mining purposes, and they are met with a group of activists and a group of mediators who put up a very, very strong fight. Now that's all I know about it. It seems like a thin volume, so sounds very, very, very interesting, and I hope to get to it very soon. So yeah, these are all the non-lock the box books. Now let me show you the carton of books that I picked up from the book fair. This is the carton of books that I bought yesterday. So this is the medium box, I think. So they have a small box, a medium box, and then like a large box. Now the small box would have fit, I don't know, 7 to 10 books. This is the medium, supposed to fit 15 to 17 books, and then the large is supposed to fit like 30 to 33 books. So very glad I didn't want to opt for the third one, but the second one has a lot of treasures for me also. So let me just dive into it and show you all the books that I picked out yesterday in the book fair. Okay, first one is Juliet by Marilyn Robinson. This copy unfortunately is a little worse for wear. It has like dust smudges on the cover and also on the pages, but I really wanted to read this book for quite a bit. So that's why I just picked it up, and I could not find another copy of this. While I don't really know a lot about the plot of this book, I have heard it being recommended by a lot of people that I follow, and also on a couple of podcasts by book reviewers that I really like. So I've been meaning to read this for quite a bit, and this is also the winner of the 2005 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, so that's always fun. So the next book that I picked up is Captain Corelli's Mandolin by Louis de Bernherz. Now this book I saw in a bookshop a few months ago, and I really liked the cover of it. Like, it seems really whimsical and cool, but because this was a little expensive, I think it was 600 or 700 rupees, I didn't buy it. But I'm so glad I found it in this book fair. Now this is the story of an Italian officer who was posted in a Greek island during the war, and he kind of works his way into the community because he is a great musician, and it's the story of how once the ugly forces of the war rears its head, how will he survive, or how will he still convince the villagers that he is a good person or something of that sort. And then the next book that I picked up is Philomena by Martin Sixsmith. Now this is a book I picked up because of the book cover. Honestly, I saw this bright yellow peeking through all the other books over there, and I was very intrigued because yellow is one of my favorite colors ever. Now this is a book about a young mother, a teenage mother who gets pregnant, and she has a child, and she gets to be with him for 3 years before the church takes the baby away and places him into adoption in America. So the mother, whose name is Philomena, searches for her son, and this book is the story of how she gets to reunite with him. And seems like it is a movie as well, starring Dame Judi Dench, and they are on the cover here as well. So very, very intriguing plotline, I think. Then I have a couple of hardbacks. This is Arvind Adiga's Selection Day. Now Arvind Adiga wrote The White Tiger, which won him the Booker, I think, a few years ago, and also is now a Netflix adaptation by Priyanka Chopra. Now my gripe with The White Tiger is that it has a lot of poverty porn. It's very much geared towards the Western world, in showing India as this really poor country with a huge amount of inequality, and it's just like it's a stream of barrage of that kind of writing. But I have never read Arvind Adiga, as a matter of fact, and he is a very popular author in India as well. This, I think, was published a few years ago, and this is about cricket. Now cricket in India is a religion of itself, and I heard a few good things about this book, not too many, so I figured I would give it a shot. And yeah, that's pretty much all I know. I know it is a cricket based thing and there's a sibling story, so looking forward to this. Another hardback that I have is Hilary Mantel's Mantel Pieces. Now this is a non-fiction book, and it is a collection of essays by Hilary Mantel. Now Hilary Mantel wrote Wolf Hall, and she won like the Booker for the trilogy, and I just find it very intriguing that one writer's series continued to win the Booker. I don't think the third book and the third final book won it, but she was on the shortlist. But I tried reading Wolf Hall. I had a second-hand copy of it, and I didn't get into it as much, and then the copy really was of bad quality, so I gave it away. And now I thought I'll just start with her non-fiction for some reason, even though non-fiction is really not my thing. Then the next book that I picked up sounded very interesting. This is Hans Fallada's Alone in Berlin. Also, this is in excellent condition. This is set in Berlin in 1940, where an ordinary German is just living. Like, he's refusing to give in to the Nazis, but he's also not fleeing. Until one day when his son gets killed in action, he takes a decision which changes up his entire life and puts him in danger. I just really like the sound of a book set in Berlin and, you know, people involved in the war effort there. Then I have another popular one. This is Atonement by Ian McEwan. This was shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 2001, and I've seen this book a lot in thrift fairs, but I've also heard of this book a lot, so I always wanted to read it, and I figured I will finally pick up a copy of this and give it a shot. This is set in 1935 and is about the lives of 3 teenagers and how one afternoon changes everything between them. That's all I really know. So these days I prefer not knowing too much about the book before diving into a book, because then I am just taken aback with everything that the book has to present, and then I get to truly enjoy it the way the author intends his readers to enjoy it. So yeah, looking forward to this one, again in good condition. And the next book that I picked up is a non-fiction actually. This is Small Fry by Lisa Brennan Jobs. Now this is a memoir written by Lisa Brennan Jobs, who is Steve Jobs' daughter. Now she is the daughter of Steve Jobs and an artist, and her father was pretty much absent a lot in her early growing up years. She was brought up by her mother until she hits a certain age when her father kind of swoops in and takes in charge, and she gets to like see this really rich lifestyle, which is very opposite to what she had growing up. And she also saw the evolution of Silicon Valley and her dad's role in that. So seems like a very poignant story, and I'm interested in reading more memoirs, which is what you'll see with the next book as well. So that's why I picked this one up. I've heard a lot of great things about it, so looking forward to it. So like I said, I love reading memoirs, and that's why I picked up another memoir. This is Bossypants by Tina Fey. One of those memoirs that I feel like a lot of people have read, even if you're not a very strong reader. I feel like everybody's read this one because it's Tina Fey, and I feel like everybody loves her. So yeah, this is basically the life story of Tina Fey, and that's all I really know, and that's why I bought this, because I want to know more about this mad woman. So yeah. Another popular book that I've picked up is The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. Now this is again a historical fiction novel, and it's about this young bride who gets married into like a grand house in Amsterdam, and for her bridal gift she gets like this miniature house, a cabinet sized replica of their home, and it's furnished by an elusive miniaturist whose tiny creations ring eerily true. It seems like a little bit more on the magical realism side, and also a little bit on suspense side, a little bit on the mystery side, but I've seen this book a lot on other people's shelves, and I thought I'll give it a try because it's quite affordable also this way. So yeah. Then the next book that I picked up is Bricklayed by Monica Ali. I think Monica Ali just wrote a book that a lot of people are recommending on BookTube, and I've never really read anything by her, and this seemed like a good place to start. This has been shortlisted by the Man Booker in 2003, and also the story really intrigued me. Now this is about a woman who gets into an arranged marriage with a man 20 years her senior, and she moves from Bangladesh to London, and over there she kind of is struggling to adjust to her new lifestyle, and also in living with a person who is very different from, you know, the kind of people that she grew up with, until she meets a young radical named Kareem, and life takes a turn, is all I know. So looking forward to this. I really like the cover of this. Like, this brick lane part is very pretty, so looking forward to this. Then I picked up the New York Trilogy by Paul Auster. Now I have heard a lot about Paul Auster, and I was really intrigued by his writing, but somehow I feel like I wouldn't enjoy it as much as maybe others have. For some reason, I just get this feeling from Paul Auster. This is a 3-part book, but it is 3 parts of the same investigative story told from 3 different perspectives, and just how complicated and how entangled can that be, I think forms the entire essence of the story. I just was very intrigued with the fact that it tells the story of one mystery from 3 perspectives, and that's 3 different novels almost, or novellas. So sounds really interesting and sounds really fun, and I just hope that my feeling of being, and I just hope that it will match up. I don't know why I get this feeling from this book, but let's see how that works out. Now the last book in the carton is Margaret Foster's Diary of an Ordinary Woman. Now this is a novel set in the Great War, and it is written as a series of letters. So the narrator starts off her diary at the start of the Great War when she's just a child or a teenager living in London, and then the letters span the entire century, and how her life also changes with the century almost. So I don't know, I really like the cover of it. Seems very like Pinteresty, and I was intrigued by the summary, and I always love a good novel which is written in letters. There's something really like personal about it for some reason. So looking forward to this one as well. Those are all the books that I picked up recently, including one big splurge. Now I have to struggle to find place to fit them on this bookshelf because it's full. So that's going to be a challenge, but anyway, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still around, do like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that jazz, and I'll see you very, very soon.